CBLOL has been getting better. I think that is, just absolutely a fact. Obviously, they've beaten us a few times now. They've been getting closer and closer to LCS. They went 5 games against G2 at MSI last year, so they're getting closer, at least against LEC, LCS. The question is, how much has the gap closed between you and the LPL, if at all? And I think this is going to be an exciting opportunity for the Loud players to try to prove that, hey, we can compete with the Eastern regions as well.
And it's also a big demonstration of what JDG is really bringing to this tournament, because against Gen G, they didn't show as much. They really did get rolled over. So let's see what they brought to us as we jump straight into the pick and ban.
Expecting Varus as the last ban. Varus has been kind of living on the ban list thus far.
Karma as well.
Karma
also been
too.
very high priority. Are they willing to let that one through? Seems the Pantheon.
Trade.
Yeah, everything's going to be up and available here in this first game. I mean, when I think about these mid laners, Ryze and Orianna are the priority bans, which then naturally increase the value of Ahri, specifically when paired alongside things like the Vi, the Jarvan, and the Pantheon, which of course a lot of these junglers are banned.
And I kind of am assuming that it is just going to be a Karma for Varus trade. Right now, JDG has to decide which side you want. So, I'm kind of expecting you go Varus, then they're going to take the Karma Ezreal, or kind of vice versa. That would be my expectation. But instead, it's going to be Vi as the first pick. So
that was kind of my read as well, because if you choose to lock in the Varus, then it makes it very easy to have that lockdown with the Vi. And Loud now seem a little bit paranoid about giving over that Ahri to Hongq. But yeah, maybe they just prioritize getting that strong bot side of the map. But do you want to run the risk? Do you feel you can protect your AD carry into what is inevitably going to be a heavy dive comp coming through from JDG?
That's where Karma first pick can be valuable too, right? Because I do think if you go Karma Ezreal, if that's going to be your option, that can be pretty viable. But of course, it's not going to be the choice here. Both teams showing dive. Vi there for Junja is going to be the option. And we have Nocturne as well as Aurora. So, very classic dive setup here for Loud. You hit the Paranoia, you turn off the lights, in comes the Aurora on the flank, and there is the Ezreal Karma.
Yeah, I mean, you called it, right? It's oh, so you're going to pick dive into us? Okay, then we'll just do what we think you should have done, and go for the disengage. Ezreal Karma now a very safe bot side of the rift.
And now I already feel like JDG have kind of won out in the first 3 pretty heavily, because you can answer with Varus here, but Varus isn't safe in the dive. They already have a very heavily pushing bot lane. Varus, if you want to match the 2v2, can be strong, but you are going to be a real target, whereas the Ezreal is so difficult to knock it down. So Sion looking like the option here for Shino. So we were wondering, are there going to be counter picks on the top side? Instead, it is not. But I don't know how you feel. I'm not the biggest fan of blinding your top when you are last pick here as Loud, because now they've blinded both their solo laners.
Yeah, they have.
And you're going to have protection bans on the bot side for JDG's bot lane. And I don't even think with the protection bans coming through, you can get a winning 2v2 for Loud, because you already have Karma Ezreal. So I kind of feel like you got no advantage by being the last pick.
I mean, it seems that their game plan has been very much priority. When we look at their most played champions this year, Sion is Shino's most played. We've got Envy with the most played on the Aurora. Nocturne, it only follows the Kiana with Jarvan already banned out. So Loud's game plan here in game 1 seems very much, we want to play stuff that we feel confident on, we know we can play well on, and we'll see how much of an impact it can have. Perhaps comfort over like what seems to be on paper right now a favorable draft for JDG. They're going to remove the Varus anyway, just because of how strong of a laner he is. That does make a lot of sense.
Rumbles up.
And the other thing is, in my head, I'm like, maybe you consider Braum into the amount of dive, but Braum into Ezreal Karma is just an absolute miserable time. And so I'm thinking now, what supports can you do? Is it a Aphelios Thresh angle, where with something like the Lantern, maybe you can create some space between you and the Vi? Especially, Aphelios likes it when the opponents come onto you. Sivir is also a good ban. That Spell Shield going to offer a lot of value, which Loud will not have access to.
And I'm really worried that they left up Rumble, right? So now it's you're thinking about what are the safe AD carries. You do naturally think about Xayah into dive, but they don't. JDG doesn't have to commit to full dive, right? Because they can play a poke style comp if they want. I'm expecting JDG, would go towards the Rumble with that up and available. And the question is, what kind of AD do you want to go for? If you lock something that is, really safe. Seraphine is still available, so it's probably just going to be Seraphine Ashe.
Looks like it, yeah.
And it looks like that is going to be the answer. And now JDG gets double counter pick in solo lanes, got to blind an incredibly powerful bot lane. And I feel like they're going to be just so happy. I mean, you essentially know whatever the pairing is with Ashe, the comp doesn't change. So you have full information with Rumble up. That was the expected one for me. And then it's just a question of what does Hongq want to go? I mean, you could even look towards... Yeah, Galio I think could really work with Vi. There's a few options for sure.
Yeah, I mean, You're getting a little bit deeper into the pool. I mean, we're seeing this a lot with Ahri, Ryze, Orianna, all banned away with the Aurora, also picked off the Rift.
What do you think about Yone? Or you think it's just too bad into the Aurora for the lane matchup? Because I always feel like Yone plus Rumble is just such a nice combo.
I mean, it can be. I think that it's just, there's too much front line on the side of Loud. It's when you have this much range available to you with Rumble, Ezreal, Karma, I feel like it just kind of goes against what it is that you want to do. TF does make a lot of sense to me just because now it's very Gen G-esque in that, like, you just play with patience, you play with your range, you keep your opponent at arm's length, you chip away at their HP, and then when you finally find a target that's low enough, you single them out, you burst them down, and then you go on to win with the numbers advantage. Of course, Loud do have a decent amount of dive on their side. As an avid Nocturne enjoyer for the majority of my career, I always like to see things that can follow up with the Nocturne. Pairing alongside Aurora, I think, can be effective, just because when you turn the lights off, it makes it easier to connect things like the Ashe Arrow, like the Seraphine ult, the Aurora burst can come through. But at the same time, I feel like that there's no real Ezreal threat. I feel that Nocturne by himself is not enough to put pressure onto an Ezreal, especially with the Karma by its side. And so I do like the range advantage that JDG just have. If they can play a patient game and they can leverage the space that they can create with this composition, I think that the pressure is going to be on Loud to find those engages and execute better than JDG.
It is definitely really scary, and yes, Sion obviously is a great frontliner. Yes, Nocturne does have Spell Shield, but Gold Guard lands on anyone except Sion, and they can get 100 to 0.
Absolutely.
You know, so I do think that is very, very scary. Honkyu is going to be set up for success, you know, later on in the game. You expected Rapid Fire usually comes in third, but sometimes people will go at second if they feel like it is just that valuable in a game like this and you don't need any more damage. So it will be interesting to see what Loud can get done, but I do feel like they gave up a lot of the power of being last pick. You know, when you are blinding everything and you are last pick, you're giving the team that got first pick a super strong bot lane, double counter pick in solo lanes, all the compositional answers they could want. It is hard to think that the underdogs would be in a comfortable spot given that.
But hey, they do have comfort picks for themselves, and right now that seems to be their game plan coming into game one. Obviously, the fan support is strong here in São Paulo, and we'll see what they can do. Expectations are very much the JDG are the favorites coming into this best of 5, but Azel did hit us with some crazy facts earlier. It's heel far at first stand, JDG yet to win a game. Let's see if they can do that against Loud here today.
Yep, it's going to be a fun one. Loud definitely not a team to go down without a fight. I definitely think it could be in for a pretty scrappy series. I mean, Loud traditionally does play a little bit more slowly, but I think when they are pushed, they are not just going to bleed out. They are going to look for engages. They are going to look for fights. So I think it should be pretty fun if they can hold up, you know, during the laning phase. And that really is, I think, the big question. If you can get past that check, then it becomes much more about how you're playing the map, how you're actually playing the setups, which I think is going to be very difficult compositionally, but is going to be a pretty big chance.
Yeah, and I mean, all eyes are on JDG and how they're going to be looking in the series, because as we mentioned earlier, against Gen G, they really did not show us much. They kind of got rolled. It was an incredibly fast series that did not go their way.
And live on patch 26.06, check out Warhound Senna. A portion of the skin's proceeds will be shared across the LoL Esports teams. So if you want to support the squad, buy the skin, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Keeping my eyes on the junglers now, both pathing towards the bot side of the map. Deep ward invested from Junja means that he will spot out where Young Jay is. Level 3 early secured for Honkyu, and these globals are going to be really important once we get that level 6 mark. Turning the lights off can make things a little bit harder for the Twisted Fate, but who's going to be the first to make that global map play on the Rift?
Yeah, and you can see Gala and Vampire pushing in on that bot side, holding out Bull and Redbird a little bit. Redbird has already had to use both of his potions, so that's going to hurt a bit. Shino doing a good job on the top side for now. It is not going to be first strike, as some of the top lane rumbles do love to take into tanks. Instead, it is Comet, so playing a little bit more aggressively for the lane. We'll see how Xiaoshu can handle Shino, who has just been such a standout in the CB LoL. You know, came in, used to be an AD carry, was quoted as saying, you know, that there was no good top laners in Brazil, so he's going to go to top. He goes to top, and he's immediately the best top laner in the CB LoL. So sometimes you talk the talk, and you can also walk the walk, but this is going to be dangerous for Young Jay. No way you can contest that bot side scuttle.
Far too difficult. Young Jay instead is going to set his sights on mid. The Spell Shield really effective against the Twisted Fate. Fun fact, this used to be my favorite Nocturne mid matchup. Nocturne into Twisted Fate.
Ooh. He's going to try to contest. Junja's actually following him. Young Jay is going to wait in the brush, does throw down the fear, and will push him back. So We'll see if he's going to be able to actually get this topside scuttle, because Xiaoshu has full prio. Shino has been shoved back to his tower, so now this gets a little bit awkward. Envy was hugging towards that top side as Youngjae still on the scuttle. The smite is not available for Youngjae. He's going to lose this to Junja. He'll just walk up and smite it. The question is, can he get punished for doing so? And I think the answer is likely to be yes. He should have to flash here. The flash to follow, barely can't get him, but he does with the Q, knocks him down for first blood.
I mean, an unnecessary contest from Junja. Yes, he had his smite up. Yes, he steals away the crab, but Nocturne, those small movement speed buffs on the Q doing some work there for Youngjae as he draws first blood against JDG.
I've also got to say, Honku TP'd to the mid lane and then just didn't walk to support him.
He didn't, no.
Honku could have just walked left and saved him.
You're completely right. I'm looking at the minimap. That Twisted Fate is like, the comms has to be, I'm fine, not fine anymore. First blood goes over to Youngjae. And as expected, the crowd erupts.
Yeah, the comms are just not my lane, not my problem from Honku.
Good, so I'm 300 gold up, okay?
Exactly.
I'm farming a treat over here. I mean, yeah, so a small blunder from Junja. We know that, I mean, internationally, it is not a great record for the CBLOL when they've met up against the LPL. That one win that they do have, let's see if my memory is correct. I want to say it was 2016 INTZ versus EDG. The group stages where them getting that upset win actually really had a pretty big impact on the group. Actually allowing HDK to come out as first seed off the back of that. But overall, it has been a very LPL-dominated affair.
It absolutely has, and while, of course, you know, the LPL is favored against really everyone except the LCK, last year at First Stand, we thought the same thing with TES coming through, and TES only ended up getting one win. We're not going to mention who that was against, but they ended up having a bit of a shocking tournament, right? You know, we were going in and like, oh, okay, well, they lost HLE, that's expected. All right, they're back on their feet. They beat TL. Of course, they're going to win out from here, right? And they were just getting smacked. They were getting 2-0'd, and it was kind of a shocking result there for TES. So, you know, if you're Loud, you have to go into this with confidence. You have to believe that it could be possible to pull off these upsets, and Honku could be in some trouble. He's going to try to use the ult to get out, and will be able to do it. Stay safe, but that is a long cooldown, and it is going to be gone for now.
Yeah, I mean, nice gank. He's going to get the help on pushing mid out. Envy's then going to be given the freedom to roam around the map. Are they going to look to contest this dragon? It has been started off by Junja. Level 6 now secured by Youngjae. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. Junja's just been sitting in the pit. The bot prio does give him access to this objective.
He's just having a chat. He's not starting it up, okay?
It does very much seem like that he's... What is the game plan here for Junja?
He's going to try to catch Youngjae out potentially here. Youngjae has the Paranoia up and available, and now he will aggro that dragon, which will push Junja back out of the pit. MB moves, Redbird is here, so this should be the scuttle for Youngjae, but JDG do still have push on the bot side, and that is going to make taking the dragon pretty difficult.
Absolutely. I mean, Gala and Vampire continuing to gain advantages in the bot lane 2 versus 2. Already gotten a kill's worth of gold simply through stronger laning thanks to the matchup. And Honku, Twisted Fate passive coming in clutch, really helping to generate his own individual leads. And so far, even though giving up the first blood, not the ideal way to start for JDG, they're still in a very good position based on how the laning phase has gone so far. Speaking to Nymera and other LPL pundits, I mean, often this team is often determined by the success of Junja. Sometimes he can make horrendous plays that can cost his team the game, but he can also be that miracle maker, that man that can make the magic happen. And while so far this early game hasn't gone his way, he's still by no means out of this game in any way, and his laners are really doing a lot of work to put JDG in a fantastic spot.
Oh my god, I mean, they're just hitting every single skill shot against Bull and Redbird here, and Redbird had to use the heal, has to go back to base. And this is a bit of a problem. You're already down 20 CS in that bot lane, 2v2, isolated 2v2. You've already lost one plate. Gala likely to take another here as well. So they're going to have to try to find some way to get some relief. But when you lose all that pressure on bot side, Vampire gets to walk in for free. He wards out Nocturne. That's going to be moving to his blue buff. And getting deep wards really is the key to avoiding these Nocturne plays. Because if you don't know what's coming, it's very difficult. But you can see on the top side they have wards. In the bot side they have this ward. It is going to get cleared out. But still, you know where the Nocturne is going to be for the next couple minutes, and the river has 4 pink wards for JDG.
Absolutely it does. And I mean, this dragon starts, I mean, I feel like both teams are eyeing it up. It's a very late Dragon start, given the context of what we've seen so far here at first stand. Usually the team that has that bot prio will be wanting to kick this objective off, but because of that small lead that Young Jay was able to build up earlier, they're a little hesitant to start that one off. Level 6 working towards for Redbird. He'd love to get that before any major objective starts, but instead I am quite surprised to see the Grubs be the priority here, given how low impact it feels that this objective is in the game right now.
Yeah, I agree, but I guess they just feel like, hey, you know, Hongq isn't that a super strong part of the game. You know, you don't necessarily want to take a fight into the paranoia, into the between worlds, you know, maybe worried about the power of those level 6 ultimates. And Young Jay is over here, has the paranoia ready. They spotted out that this objective was being taken. Junja will get 2, still has a smite, so he's going to get all 3 grubs. Despite the TP coming in from Envy, Young Jay didn't want to just flash into the pit and flip it. And Junja is able to secure all 3.
Yeah, I don't love that Young Jay was mainly just being a spectator there. There was opportunities to clear out the bot river vision, maybe even threaten a gank onto the bot side of the map. He has his ultimate available to him, and we need to be seeing this Nocturne just using it. I think it's so important for Nocturnes to have some presence on the map, and even if they're just burning flashes or trying their best to make things happen ahead of things like Dragon objectives, like you need to get those flashes out, otherwise it just becomes a lot harder to do your job as you get into the game.
Yeah, he's looking pretty homeless. It's like you're just kind of wandering back and forth. You're warded out everywhere. There's no camps for you to do. He doesn't feel comfortable to start the Dragon. Yep. Everything is on vision. Even when he's not on vision, you're seeing JDG pings on where he's going to be, right? You just saw a ping on top side over by the red buff from JDG. They're saying, yep, this is where he's going now. So Xiaoshu, watch out as Hongq and Vampire will be pushing forward here to push Envy back. It's been a slow bleed. I mean, it's first blood for Loud, but they're down 1.3k at 10 minutes, and JDG are just creating these incremental advantages. The Unstoppable Onslaught going to come forward here from Shino, is going to be able to get a pretty good amount of damage down onto Xiaoshu, but he has his TP, uses the Equalizer to clear out the wave, and no real threat of a kill.
So keeping track of that ping.
Oh, they're going to go in with the paranoia. Xiaoshu could be in a lot of trouble here. The Fear Tether will surely connect, and that's going to be a kill, but is it going to be a kill back? Young Jay barely surviving, needs to get out of range of those minions. Has a couple health to his name, but that's more than one, and that's all you need.
So he does get the ultimate off. He makes a play happen on the top side, and he gets himself another kill. A nice play, but JDG are being proactive on the other side of the map. They secure the Dragon. You've got Junja stealing away the Grom. They're threatening the bot tower and funneling more plates into Gala as Hongq just continues to farm in mids. I feel like exactly as you were saying, Azael, Young Jay's just kind of roaming around the map, and JDG are punishing his positioning time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been great tracking throughout this game thus far. And the fact that they have all these pushing waves is really helping with the Grubs.
We look back at this play, a lot of the early damage done by Shino. The Nocturne clearing his topside camps, has the ultimate available to him, needs to try and make something happen because he knows that the Dragon is going down, commits to the dive, and I mean, Xiaoshu, he nearly gets a kill back here. Literally, like, any other form of damage would have been enough to trade one for one. Oh, and Shino died to that tower.
But it wasn't execute.
It wasn't execute, yeah.
So respect, you know? He ends up getting taken down, but it doesn't matter. There's the Coinbase gold grind. Young Jay out to a little bit of a gold lead with those 2 kills for himself. Bull getting pushed back as the Destiny is popped. Redbird and Bull have been taking a bit of a beating, but they've kept the tower alive thus far at least. There's a nice little sidestep there from Redbird on the True Shot Barrage comes through.
Yeah, and the problem with game states like this is...
Barrier. Oh, tries to use the barrier to get the recall off, but he's not going to be able to do it. Now he is rooted up. The Encore comes through, but there's no one tanking the tower just yet. Redbird gets one shot, and Bull, you got nowhere to go, buddy. That's going to be a double for Junja. Gala walks it out, and JDG strike back. Now they're up 3K.
The poke is unrelenting. The advantage that they have gained only continues to grow. And while Loud, like, they don't often generate early game leads, but you just, against a team like JDG, you can't just let them run the rift like this. They find an opportunity in the bot lane. Young Jay is no way to be seen. And now they, like, we're just barely 13 minutes into the game, and it's a 3.7k gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? They were already down a lot of gold even with the kills because the lanes were going so poorly, and obviously the TF passive cheating a little bit there, but still, the laning has just been better, and even though Young Jay got a couple kills, look at the CS differential between the junglers, right? Because Junja has just been being very efficient. They've been tracking where the Nocturne is, and he has been power farming on the Vi, and now is able to cash in on a couple kills down on that bot side. and that means that Bull and Redbird are going to be kind of out of it a bit. Gala is nearly going to have his second item, and it was most of the way there, and Bull's still working on that first because he went for the Berserker Greaves early, so he's going to be very far behind, especially when Gala does get that second item and gets the Muramana going.
Yeah, I mean, so Loud is in this really awkward spot now where all of the responsibility falls on Youngjae to make things happen. And the reason why is because, as you're seeing, if JDG just get to play the lanes, they win. TF is just passively farming gold just by laning. And Gala and Vampire just win the 2 versus 2. So if there is no action happening, JDG is just winning because they are just chipping away at your towers. They have greater vision control. They always have the prio. And it's just Loud is bleeding gold away. So all of this responsibility falls on a Youngjae. And you can see that he is fishing, but he's largely just spending his time as an observer.
Yeah.
And like they know exactly where he is right now.
I mean, it's so tough. There's 3 wards on his topside jungle. So he started walking down. He's like, oh, maybe I can go for Xiaoshu. But JDG had already been preemptively assist pinging down on the bot side. So they walk up, they hit the vision plant, they spot Youngjae. They know he was on this side of the map, and now he's not going to really be able to do anything as JDG has prio in mid and bot. They move to the scuttle. It's going to be a teleport in here from Shino to fight over the scuttle. Seems a little bit much because the Dragon's not there for 45.
You can tell that the pressure is really getting to Loud. JDG, again, keeping to this mantra of we don't need to do anything. We can just let them make the decisions and then we just react accordingly. And with the TP committed, what does that mean? Oh, there are camps I can steal. Oh, Xiaoshu.
Envy in a lot of trouble here. Xiaoshu is overheated. Envy going to try to trade back with the Between Worlds, gets a little bit of damage down. Yeah, I'd be very scared about that. Paranoia going to get popped. They're going to look for a dive here, but Xiaoshu is pretty healthy. Pops a scrap shield, flashes back, trying to survive. They will knock him down, but it's going to cost them one of their own. Youngjae sacrifices for the squad, and Jung is coming in, looking for Envy. Can't quite get him. The teleport barely completes. I thought he was dead to rights.
Yeah, I really thought so too. But he's able to get away. It ends up being a 1-for-1, but that's still a massive win for JDG. Xiaoshu got the whole wave, traded 1-for-1, and now with no jungler, he can just start dragging off no problem. So that's going to be another objective gain for JDG. And you can see how difficult it is for this Nocturne to find plays on the map. He's pretty much only successfully ganked the Rumble. And in both instances, the first time he nearly lost his life, but the second time he did.
This could be dangerous here. They are TPing into the top side, and there is the decimating smash waiting for him. Xiaoshu has no flash, but is he going to need it? The Crystal Arrow comes from downtown, and it does connect. Another knockup. It's taking him some time. The scrap shield back again. The overheat is there. He's trying to get one back. Can he get Shino? Flashes out to safety. Loud gets another kill, up 4-3, but still down 3.5k gold.
I mean, a nice punish from Loud. A bit of a, I guess, lackadaisical TP, not respecting the potential positioning of Shino. But at the same time, look at bot lane, Azale, look at bot lane, there's Twisted Fate, it's just been given a free lane.
I won't, you can't make me. I'm holding my hand over the minimap and I'm pretending that play won them the game.
Yeah, the cross maps from JDG just continue to come through. Poor Xiaoshu, he really has been the target, but he's doing his best, and JDG are making it work, continuing to gain advantages across the Rift.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, despite the fact that he's died 3 times, he's down 16 gold. Now he's up a couple. You know, it's completely irrelevant, and you look down in mid and bot, and that is so problematic as Hongq going to be working in towards that. Lichbane, Gala probably has his second item ready to go when he goes back to base as well.
But that mid tower is a great example as well of how JDG are just passively winning. And so this is just one of those situations where he's thinking to himself, well, if Envy's come to top, why would Shino be here? And ultimately, it still works in their favor because, again, look at the minimap. You'll see that the Twisted Fate continues to push. And, like, the gank is nice. Sure, you get a kill, but think about how much time this took, how many resources. They got a flash out from Shino, and they got the Ash arrow out as well. And, I mean, like, sure, the arrow is going to come back up in time for any major objective that happens, but still, that 3.7k gold lead that JDG has, I guess you could argue the good news is that it hasn't gotten bigger. Yeah, it hasn't changed either.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten better, hasn't gotten worse. They're going to go in on Xiaoshu again. This time the equalizer is there. He's trying to kite back, is going to be feared up and knocked down. Envy goes on a killing spree. But still, even with the 3 kills, he's down so much gold because of all the plate gold, the turret gold, the passive from the TF has just made Hongq ridiculously rich. And it is 2 dragons early for JDG, and it's going to be a Hextech Soul available.
You got 220 gold for killing Xiaoshu. I mean, hey, it helps. It's something. It gets you closer to that next major item, and if they can get that top tower as well, it's better than nothing. And Loud, at the very least, are trying to make something happen. They know that Xiaoshu is an easy target. So far, they are finding success at repeated ganks towards this Rumble.
Look at all the spam pings. They're just 100 pings over where Youngjae is, and Youngjae could be in a lot of trouble here. He had the flash, but I don't think he's got anywhere to go. Gala is here. Junja is here. He overstayed his welcome, and it's a kill there for Gala. Those were furious pings from JDG. About 100 of them getting spammed down on that Nocturne. They're like, this is illegal. He's not allowed to take my blue buff.
And Junja's going to punish it by stealing some camps of his own. Handing that blue buff over to Gala is going to be a lovely treat. They have the Herald for top lane as well. And I mean, it feels like that every play Loud make, JDG just punish in an even more convincing way. The goal lead now will continue to grow. They're going to get a second charge of this Herald off.
Ooh, little drive-by knock-up just to make him remember you, as Shino should be able to walk back to the tower no problem. I just love how Junja was more adamant that they needed to punish the blue buff being taken than his top laner being killed. He's
Absolutely.
like, you can have my Rumble, but leave that blue buff alone, buddy.
That belongs to Junja and Junja alone. And he's got a lot of camps that he needs to clear now. With Dragon spawning in a minute 18. Oh, he's actually going to forego his top camps, set his sights on the bot camps, and get ready for that next neutral objective as Loud are desperately just trying to finish what items they can. The Storm Surge being finished for Envy gives him a decent amount of damage. Maybe it's enough to one-shot Gala. Maybe.
Maybe. And as long as Vampire is around, though, it's going to be tough with the Mantra Inspires, with the heal available, with the Cleanse on Gala. And Ro is about to tick over to 10 for Hongq. He is so accelerated, working in towards that rapid fire cannon next. When he gets that, the team fights are going to be that much easier for them to play out. Junja says,
revenge.
I'm going to take that blue buff back. Took one off your corpse and now took one out your jungle.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this is a much better look for JDG. It's not been very kill heavy, but they've played exactly as they needed to. They knew they had winning matchups. They knew that if they just kept playing the game, they would just be winning. And they've done a fantastic job. Gala and Vampire continues to dominate in the 2 versus 2. They've taken bot tower, they've taken mid tower, the Herald taking top. And now, with all this vision control set up, there's only one ward in that tiny brush in Loud's bot side jungle. It's not going to be enough for any TP crazy plays. JDG suffocating the vision away from Loud, making it impossible for them to approach.
They really are. And when you're thinking about Loud, you're thinking, okay, well, maybe they can get some picks, right? You know, maybe that's how you get back into it. But Mikhail's is now complete here for Vampire. Shino going to try to shove his way in. Destiny will be popped here as Xiaoshu's coming in behind him. The equalizer is across everyone. The True Shot Barrage nails the backline. Bull and Redbird are running for here. Shino is low as well. In comes Junja onto Youngjae. Envy is here, but they have no recourse in this fight. Loud are sent running for the hills immediately thanks to a great equalizer and an even better True Shot Barrage.
JDG don't get any kills, but they demonstrate the strength of the range that they have with this composition. A beautiful ultimate from Xiaoshu followed up by an even better ulti from Gala, forced Loud to immediately have to retreat. This is going to be an uncontested dragon. JDG looking convincing here in game 1 of this best of 5.
They are looking very strong. Going to be able to go down to bot, knock down another tier 2 here. And looking like they are in full control of this game. 4th tower of the game. Has been pretty even as far as the kills, but JDG has been running the map. Hongq now has 10 stacks on the Roa, so an additional skill point in for him. The rapid fire is complete, 21 minutes in. He's on 3 items, plus upgraded boots, plus the Dark Seal. Ridiculously fed, and now JDG's teamfight just gets that much easier because Hongq just walks forward, gold cards anyone, you land all your poke guaranteed. Even if that's Shino, at this point, they are so fed on the other side that happens a couple times to Shino and he's out of the fight.
Absolutely. I mean, it's also got to be so frustrating to watch as a CBLOL fan just because it feels like Loud can't do anything. But this is exactly what we talked about in draft, right? So much responsibility falls on the Youngjae. Envy, he tickles Junja.
Nice little rocket belt there to dodge the Vault Breaker, but that's about the best you can say because now they're going to be onto the red buff here. Loud will spot it out, but not sure they're going to have an answer to it.
They do not, Nazael. It will in fact be an uncontested red. And it seems that JDG taking their time as they have done all game long. Baron is available, as our observers are showing us. They can see very little on the side of Loud.
And they're going to go in. Here comes the Paranoia. He's going to try to get out with the Destiny. Times it well enough. TP's out in their face. Hongq, you'll remember the day you almost caught him. But he does stay alive. Perfect 0-0-0 so far on the TF.
That's completely right. He hasn't been able to actually be involved in a single kill so far on the team, but he's got a lot of gold.
And the towers have taken a beating.
Oh, that they have.
They'll remember him.
Level 16 on the TF as well. Means the cooldown on his ultimate should be relatively low at this point in the game. JDG, though, again, like, they realize that the way that they throw this is by overforcing a Baron, doing something unnecessary. Loud still have ways and means of getting into the pit, and a single steal, doesn't matter how far behind you are, that can be a difference maker. So JDG taking their time. I mean, like, it feels like a slow game. We're only 23.5 minutes in, Azale. They're threatening Soul in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And if a single member of Loud gets picked, that's going to be a guaranteed Baron for JDG.
Absolutely is. I mean, JDG are just taking no risks, right? Like you said, they're just bleeding them out slowly, and eventually Loud is going to have to try to force a fight. But when everything has been spotted, when everything is on vision, it's never going to be a good angle for you. And now Gala has 3 items. Hongq has had his 3 for a while. Xiaoshu completes the Bloodletter's Curse, so he's on 2, and Junja's going to be working in towards the GA. So it's not really going to get better for Loud. They have 2 minutes until this next dragon spawns, and you absolutely must send it at the Hextech Soul. There's no way you can give that over and have a chance in this game. So we'll see if they can find some way to get something done. And I mean, Hongq doesn't have a lot of damage done, but hasn't had to. He's just been playing through the side lanes, and JDG are just playing to this win con.
Yeah, he has absolutely done everything that he needed to. He should have his TP available as well. Oh, I say that. No, he doesn't. Right now he's running the heal. But his ulti is already back off cooldown.
Yep, and has that Destiny, so that's going to be the TP that he needs. And you can see the True Shot Barrage just used to delay the base because they know no one's answering Hongq. Loud are just overgrouping, trying to find plays, and every single time they're getting punished in the side lane. They're losing more minions, they're losing more experience, they're losing more tower plates. And now, as soon as you see Shino up on the top side, guess what? No one can face check JDG or they die. So then JDG just hard invade on the bot side. As long as Sion's not there, there's no way for Loud to walk in. And they're losing all of their vision. They're losing all of their setup. JDG are just making this look so simple, so textbook, just bleeding them out and really giving Loud no recourse whatsoever. I mean,
a game like this is a slow and insidious killer in that it wears away at your mental because you get so frustrated that you just, like, you feel like you're not playing the game, right? Like, all of your camps are being taken. You can't farm any lane. You can't approach anywhere. You just get so frustrated. And, like, we've heard it from players before. They get bored. Like, they want to play the game, man. They want to play League of Legends. They want to click their buttons and they want to interact with the enemy champions. And JDG have said, no, go ahead, make your play. Go ahead, try and act. And they know that the moment that Loud do, it's going to be an overforce. So they have to maintain that patience, wait for that good opportunity, but JDG will not give it to them.
Well, TP going to be coming in here from Shino over towards mid lane. We have all 10 members in the area, 20 seconds until that Soul would spawn for JDG. Definitely don't want to give that over to them. Shino has the TP shield, is going to be pretty tanky with that. Junja getting caught out a little bit, but on the other side, it's Redbird and it's Bull, and they're in a world of trouble. Bull's going to be able to try to get out of their flashes back. Young Jay is already down, though, and now Shino is going to be isolated. The Equalizer in across multiple members. Bull is burning. Bull is down. Envy's going to follow. Gala picks up a double, as all you can do as the Scion is run away. Your teammates are falling left, right, and center. JDG easily win the fight before it even truly starts. Redbird going to be able to buy a little bit of time, but Gala's going to knock him down eventually as well. Make that 3 kills for Gala in the extended play. They're going for the Baron. They can take the Baron, the Soul, the towers, everything all at once.
Loud, they finally decided to look for a fight, but in doing so, they became split up. Hongq and Gala set their sights onto the back line, removing Envy and Bull before the fight can even start. Keep your eyes on how Loud turn their attention to Junja. They're thinking, hey, maybe we can get a pick here, but look at the back line, the ultimate thrown out. Hongq gets a huge stun. So much damage from Vampire and Gala, meaning that the back line is immediately forced to retreat, and with repeated stun cards, a beautiful equalizer. JDG pick apart Loud. They don't lose a single member, and they're going to get a Baron off the back of this play.
And I feel like Equalizer is one of the ults that gets criticized the most in pro play, where people just place it poorly a lot of time. It's kind of a little bit of a different paradigm to place it. Xiaoshu has had perfect equalizers in every single fight.
Absolutely.
They could not be placed better. They're layering on multiple members and covering off their retreat path in every single time. And it's just making it so chaotic for Loud where they're having to kite back nonstop. And seeing that MasterCard priceless moment, they were able to, of course, claim the Baron, claim the Soul, and it feels like they have claimed game number 1. And Loud just trying to hold on. They'll have to retool, regroup, and see if they can get something going in the second game, because this one has definitely been a frustrating one for them. Just have not been able to find the plays they need. It's been a bit of a slow bleed out here. As look at that Mystic shot. Envy takes 2 to the face and is almost dead. The equalizer is going to get dropped onto Bull. Bull is running for the hills, but he's gold carded in the equalizer and is burnt to a crisp. He can go nowhere. It's cow for dinner as JDG charging in. Shino going to get stunned up as well. And there is just no fear from the JDG members, but maybe Gala should have a little. He's going to have to shift back to his team, trying to stay safe. If they're going to go in, the paranoia is going to be popped. But Young Jay hasn't even joined just yet. Now flying in, trying to save Redbird. Envy is fighting as hard as he can, but all they do is pop the GA. Xiaoshu stays alive. Shino flashes back into the fountain. JDG are focusing down the towers. Statin padding a little bit more before this one will end, but they'll knock down the Nexus in just under 30 minutes. It's a 13K gold lead and a very controlled game number 1 from JDG. They got a winning bot lane, and they got to counterpick both solo lanes, and they got the first pick of the Vi.
Yeah, so they got to do whatever they wanted.
They just played blind pick. They just played blind pick, and you had to respond to everything. It's crazy. So we'll see if Loud can do a little bit better in the draft in the second game. They are going to have first pick this time, while JDG will have blue side. So Loud is going to have that first selection, and we'll see what they're going to do in the draft here this time around. Varus did fall through the first 6 bans last time, and we'll see if that is going to remain the trend again here.
So Jarvan and Pantheon hitting the ban list once again. Young Jay's Aatrox yesterday was, day before yesterday, was a bit of a shining light.
He played really well against Lion in general, I thought.
Yeah. So I wonder if that might be some direction that they're thinking about. I wonder also, like, again, so comfort is kind of important when you're playing against an opponent that, I mean, is naturally very strong. But as we saw, if you lean too much into comfort, then it just makes it easy for your opponents to play around that and pick around that. But banning away the Nautilus does suggest that they might be thinking about an early Lulu pick.
And Varus is still up, right? So there is that now. You know, JDG have to decide, okay, are we willing to give this over? You know, if Loud wanted, they would be able to take it, or will they ban that out? You know, Varus obviously was eventually banned in the second phase of bans after it wasn't grabbed in that first 3 from Loud. So JDG just discussing, you know, do we want to ban that Varus? Do we want to leave it up? It has been mostly perma-banned throughout the tournament thus far, and instead it will not be banned. So they banned the Nami, so that more worried about the Nami Corki, the Nami Lucian, those pairings.
I mean, Bull looking at his champs, like, I don't see a Varus game there, Azael.
Like, I just always believe that everyone has to play Varus.
I mean, yeah, one would think, but there's that Lulu hub that we were talking about. I feel like that they're willing to let the Varus go.
You think it's just going to be Lulu Yunara versus a Varus bot lane on the other side? That's what I'm
thinking. Either Yunara or Aphelios, one of those two, but Yunara is probably the more likely option, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Aphelios is the backup Yunara. You know, but when Yunara isn't available, you have to take the Yunara without a dash.
Absolutely.
So I do think, you know, Xin plus Varus for JDG would be super strong, but they don't necessarily have to go Varus in the first 2 if they don't want to. We are definitely expecting it to be Yunara Lulu. Of course, JDG also have the opportunity to try to pick that away if they are really concerned about that pairing. And so they are going to grab that away, and now we have to see what does Loud want to do. Do they go to the backup Yunara? Do they go to a trusty old Moon Man, Aphelios here?
You said Moon Man. I thought you said Moon Man. And I was like, oh.
This guy, isn't he like something to do with the moon?
Yeah, no, you're completely right. Yeah, he's very edgy, loves the moon. That's completely accurate.
Ooh, do you think they'll on-hit Varus if they go Varus here since they have Lulu?
Okay.
Because I feel like Lulu does not make any sense with Varus if they're going to go poke.
We're going to go for alternative. We're going old
We're going for Lightning Yunara.
Yes.
We have Yunara, we have Lightning Yunara, we have Moon Yunara.
Yeah. somehow all slightly worse than original Yunara. Well, in any case, they're putting responsibility on Bull to be the hyper carry in this game.
Yep.
Does mean that JDG can just draft for a winning bot side match. We're going to blind pick mid. I do feel like they're allowing the jungle pool to get very tight. There we are. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me. Get that Aatrox. We were just talking about how Young Jay on the Aatrox did get that win against Lion, and he looked pretty convincing on it when he was able to find a couple of good ganks towards the bot side of the rift.
And it's always really powerful to have champions like Xin, like Aatrox with enchanters, right? And they have the Lulu.
Absolutely.
So, you know, when you can buff up this Aatrox, especially if Young Jay gets ahead, if he has some success in the early game. I mean, he got first blood last game. If you can get that kind of a start, it is quite strong. Nico looking like a strong choice here for Vampire. Of course, you said it, you know, they pick support and bot first, so you're going to have prio on that bot side, definitely with the Nico. It's going to be, you know, more Bull and Redbird trying to survive like they were last game. I don't think that this is as extreme as going up against the Karma and Ezreal, but I still expect that JDG will have push, and we'll see how they handle it.
Yeah, it's still very winning. I think that Zeri is just like, she's not the strong, she's not a strong laner.
Yeah.
In contrast to Yunara, who once she gets those orbs stacked up, can become quite lethal, especially once you hit that level 6 mark. And just, I always forget Nico. Like, she's such a good answer into Lulu in my head, just because like of her passive and her ability to lock you down. And if you do get rooted at all, Yunara is just going to unleash on you. So I like the bot lane matchup from JDG. I think it's favorable for them as we move into the second phase. Now going to be banned away on the top side. JDG. They're going to have to blind pick something. So something like Cassante. Renekton is something that they've done before, and it's usually their go-to on the top side. Xiaoshu, very well recognized in the LPL for being such a strong Renekton player.
And that's, to me, what the Gnar screams. So if I'm loud, I'm now deciding, am I okay with the Renekton or do we ban it? Because I think Gnar is by far the most common answer to the Renekton. With that being banned out, you know you're probably going into the Renekton here. Of course, there's a possibility it's something else, but that is definitely the likely option. And so Shino has to decide, okay, do I need that to be banned? Can I play something else into it? And I feel like that's the thought process here now for Loud. We're seeing some potential protection bans for Envy as LeBlanc gets thrown down. You know, if you do want to go towards more of a control mage style, maybe want to keep Hongq off of some of these aggressive answers.
Ooh, Akali. I wonder what that suggests.
Oh, it's the answer. It's the answering ban for the LeBlanc because of the chain's interaction with the Shroud is considered very good. So I think they're saying, oh, you banned LeBlanc because you want to play Akali, so we're going to ban the Akali, so you can't actually pick that. So it feels like they're just kind of reading into what the bans are meaning on the other side. And now, yeah, just wondering, is Loud going to ban the Renekton, or are they totally fine giving that over?
Personally, I would ban it.
I would
having
too.
seen
Xiaoshu's very good.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Renekton, very good. So let's see if they go in the direction. I mean, it seems like Loud is very much banning mid lane champions with the anticipation of getting something comfortable for themselves.
What do you think the Annie ban signifies? Because it's kind of interesting. I mean,
they
the
did
Renekton
hover the
pick
Victor earlier.
Yeah, but Victor is really good into Annie, so there's no way you're doing that protection ban for it, unless you're just that worried about the later game, like the composition. Because Victor heavily outranges Annie. I think that is a terrible 1v1. But Renekton, the obvious pick once that Gnar got banned out. To me, like, Annie is strongest against melee champions, things like, you know, if you want to play Yone or want to play aggressive stuff, right? But Akali has been banned out.
I mean, she also compositionally, like, Wukong Annie was tried and true,
totally.
right? So she can definitely plug and play. Yeah, I was thinking Syndra, but then I'm again like
Syndra's great into Annie.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, is Annie something you're really scared of?
No.
But hey, they banned it away. That's fine. I think that Hongq can do kind of whatever he wants. If it was me, I would pick Fizz, but we're in a pro game, and I don't play professionally. So I think that not going Fizz makes a lot of sense. But Ahri, I don't love. I do think one of Ahri's worst matchups is Syndra. So quite a confidence play coming through from Hongq to actually bring this matchup in, just because a good Syndra player could make life really miserable for the Ahri.
And they don't have great setup. I mean, neither side has great engage, let's be honest. And when you're looking over at Loud side, what's your engage? A Scatter of the Weak. And when you're looking over at JDG, it's basically just Vampire or then, you know, a Flash Charm or, you know, Flanking Renekton, whatever. They have some more options as far as that goes. But so maybe the Annie was just, hey, we're more worried about this compositionally. We just don't want you to have more go buttons. And the potential there for Envy to deny that engage always has to be something we keep in mind. You know, as Vampire's going forward, you can hit the Scatter onto the Nico, push him back, deny that potential Pop Blossom. So we'll see how that 1v1 goes and if they're going to be able to mark Vampire.
In my mind, all I think of is like, Syndra hates stuff that basically wants to flank you. She ideally wants to play front to back. She waits for like the damage to be done where she can find that execute, and excuse me. She,
Bless you.
against Nico, I think she really struggles. So we'll see if they're able to pull it off. Again, like, I don't love the draft from Loud, Azael. I don't love it. I think that JDG just have more options. And in the context of comfort, like, Xiaoshu's Renekton is really good, dude. Like, it's really good. And I'm expecting him to have a high impact in this game. So let's see how things pan out as we jump into game 2.
Yeah, we'll see how Shino can do in that top side 1v1. Of course, if you can survive the early game as the Cassante, it can become a pretty comfortable matchup, and you can have a lot of value on that Cassante, being the only true frontliner that really is in this game. So we'll see if Shino can have success there up on the top side. Did pretty well against Xiaoshu in game number 1. Of course, a lot of that was Youngjae constantly ganking as well. But I really think that Loud's bot lane has to hold up better than they did in the first time for them to have a real shot here.
So if I'm Loud, my comms are, all right, Envy, we are perma-ganking mid. I think that Syndra's EQ combo is super effective against Ahri, and I think that you have really easy gank setup. And so I think that they should be looking to put as much pressure onto Hongq as possible here in this early game if they want to try and find an early lead.
Let's see if they're going to be able to do that. As just a bit of trading back and forth here in the mid lane. Hongq already has a potion advantage, as had a pretty good level 1 trade there into MB. Kind of forced that trade and is playing bone plating on the side of the Ahri, so was able to win out very heavily in that level 1 trade.
Junglers as well, doing similar pathing to what we saw in game 1. Does mean that bot lane might be the center of action, but again, I'm really hoping we see some stuff happen in mid. This mid lane matchup, one of the big reasons why it can really suck for the Ahri is just because Syndra just outranges you, and it's really easy for you to just permanently bully the Ahri, but that's not quite how this lane is currently going, as Hongq is getting much better of the trades, and ultimately if you sidestep the Qs and don't get hit by them, and you land your skill shots, then, I mean, yeah, you can win out in the 1v1.
You just described League of Legends, and MB might be getting solo killed. That was incredibly close, but we're going to ignore that. A bright spot in the first series was Shino. He was able to get 3 solo kills, had a pretty impressive performance here as a rookie from the CBLOL. A lot of hopes are on his shoulders. You definitely want to see him have another good performance to have a chance in this. Envy will have to TP back. Unfortunately, not going to have a great buy with only a 13 CS. And Hongq will be able to reset this wave, and he can either match TPs or just run right back. Envy, though, fakes the base and is going to be able to, at the very least, farm up 1 more wave. So not the end of the world here, as he'll get most of that is down just the 4 CS.
Overall, though, nicely played by Hongq, playing the matchup really well. Getting favorable trades out against the Syndra early is really good to see for the Ahri. Going to TP back into lane with the Dark Seal. Both mid laners actually similar in atomization. The only advantage he'd gained is the 74 gold lead that he has, which is a control ward.
Yep, and it's great that Envy actually did fake the base, Redbird getting low here, because if Envy hadn't been able to do that extra wave, he wouldn't have been able to get the refillable, and if you come back with no sustain, it can be tough. Junja in the area though, Redbird is low, he does have the heal, they're already getting zoned off the wave at 3 minutes into the game, so it does not bode well for that bot side 1v1, but they're gonna look here on the top side. Shino flashes forward and does get that traded flash out from Xiaoshu, but that is gonna be all he gets, and Gala gets to deny a full wave from Bull basically on that bot side, and I think he probably got the first play. The first one's extremely easy to get.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a consistent pattern in this series, which is that JDG, they're drafting strong bot lane 2 vs 2. This is something that they did a lot domestically. They like having pressure on the bot side of the map, and it's mainly because of that bot crab. Like, once you have the push, contesting that as the enemy jungler becomes insanely difficult. The only way you can really do it is if you have push over mid wave, and there aren't even that many mid champions at like level 4 or level 3 that can really help you contest early on. So having bot control is extremely important to contesting that, and it limits Youngjae's options as well. You saw that he does end up getting the flash out from Xiaoshu as both top laners end up trading, but him forcing to spend his time on the top side of the map and investing in trying to put a Renekton behind when Cassante is your laner, like that does not bode well for a long-term win condition.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the hope in those kind of cases is that Cassante just becomes this brick wall that they can't get through in the team fights, but of course didn't really pay off in that gank. Is going to be on the early Bramble Vest, though, while it is a Column Boot on the other side. Xiaoshu just kind of consistently pushing this one in and is getting the HP advantage in the trades, as Junja was able to walk up, ward out those Raptors, so they should have full info on where Youngjae is going to be.
Okay, we find ourselves in once again a relatively quiet early game. Loud's early game leads aren't often the strongest. When we kind of looked coming into this tournament, they had one of the weakest early games at first stand. They often found themselves at deficits, but they are very good at finding ways back into the game, as they often did in their series against Lion as well. Even when they were at these gold deficits, they were able to fight their way back in. And often I keep my eyes on Young Jay as one of those players that helps drive back that difference.
Exactly, and I mean, honestly, you know, even though they are down a little bit, the waves are going to equalize here. They're going to catch the spot wave. They're only going to be down a couple hundred gold. So this is, you know, going a lot better, it feels like, than last time, where they were just getting blasted in the bot lane 2v2. So hard to actually lane into that Karma Ezreal. And you can see these are the Loud early game stats. 0% first blood percentage, you know, down about 1,200 gold at 14. As a Young Jay going to look topside once more, but Xiaoshu hits level 6 here. He doesn't have the flash, but he does have the dominus. Uses the slice early, which could go bad for him. Nice sidestep. The Infernal Chains, though, not going to connect just yet. As Shino goes all out, Xiaoshu trades back with the dominus. Going to be able to try to get out of here, trying to outplay, just can't do it. Young Jay back-to-back first bloods. Last time on the Nocturne, this time on the Aatrox.
I mean, they're looking to change that first blood stat. Pump
those numbers up.
They certainly are in this series. They find another effective play on the top side of the Rift. JDG going to respond with a cross map of their own. But I think in plays like this, it's important that Young Jay is getting the kills and he's able to secure it for himself. On the Aatrox against Lion is where he was able to have a big performance. And now that he's getting accelerated, he's looking to do the same thing here in game 2.
And I just think compositionally, they stand much more of a chance this time than last time. I like what they have built a lot more than last game, though there will still be difficulties. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're going up against a team as good as JDG, it's always going to be tough, but they're going to look for a dive on the bot side. Vampire holding the turret aggro. The Crescent Guard is popped as they go forward. Junja gets one. It's a replay of last game. Double kill in a dive for Junja. You saw it in game 1, you're going to see it again in game 2.
It feels like Young Jay is just being denied all access to the bot side of the Rift. He's stealing camps on the top side of the map, but JDG is getting a dragon and they're threatening a bot dive. The level 6s had not come through for Bull or Redbird. It became way harder to stay alive. The cleanse really not offering much in that situation either. And JDG find themselves with a 1.4k gold lead.
Young Jay finds himself behind Xiaoshu once again. This time, still no flash, but no ultimates, and Xiaoshu going to play it safe. There was a lot of pings up on that top side, knowing that Young Jay, his response would be to take away some of those top side camps. So Xiaoshu does lose his ward, and is going to be a little bit nervous about that, but you can see multiple members here from JDG heading up towards that top side to cover him, as Vampire's up there, Junja's up there, Honkyu's up there. So they're trying to get some coverage here for Xiaoshu and make sure that he won't be caught off guard by another gank.
Movement into the enemy jungle. I mean, Junja, he's just continually stolen away these camps. Ever since that red buff was taken from him, it has been a personal vendetta of his to steal away as many of these buffs as possible. Grubs are alive as well. He may just turn his attention straight towards them, and yeah, he's going to do just that. His mid laner is recalling, but he's got the push out in mid. The vision coverage once again is out. It's just nothing but dominant from the side of JDG.
Yeah, I mean, they're completely tracking Young Jay. It's honestly so hard to play as a jungler when you have all your lanes that are losing and getting pushed in, and you're getting warded on both sides. There's 3 wards on top side. The ward just expired on his blue buff, so, you know, they're still going to know exactly where you are. Because as long as you have one side warded, you know they can really only be on the other side or looking for a lane gank.
Yeah.
And because there's not good gank assist, lane ganks on Aatrox are going to do nothing, right? It's not like you have a Nautilus, and Aatrox doesn't have good gank setup himself, so really there's not going to be much of an avenue of approach for him, and that is going to make things very difficult for these Aatrox, who really can only kind of sit back and farm.
Going to do his best. They do have some vision from Loud on the bot side of the Rift. They've got that one deep ward in the lane to spot out any lane potential gank coming through from Junja. Young Jay going to clear out some vision of his own as well, thanks to his control ward.
Bull going to go in, pops the ulti here. Gala going to turn and fight, though. Vampire hits him with a Pop Blossom. In comes the shielding from Lulu. Will keep Bull alive. They wanted to go for an aggressive trade, but bit off more than they could chew. Honku and Envy fighting heavily. Honku incredibly low. Does get hit by the ulti. Will be able to just run away, though, with the Spirit Rush.
One of the big reasons why it can be so difficult for the Ahri is once she's committed with the ult, then Syndra's burst on the clapback can be very dangerous. So Honku having to use his ulti to get out of harm's way. He's very low, though. Junja hits off the support.
Nicely done there from Envy. It's going to be able to push in, take a plate. The unleashed power just put Honkyu so low that he just had to run for it. And MV paying respect to the fact that jungler could be on that bottom side. Plays it far enough up towards the top side that Junja couldn't get in behind him. And Youngjae just going to continue farming, but he's farming on a ward, so they maintain that information on the Aatrox.
Yeah,
and look at his bot side camps now, both warded out.
Just the vision control continues to simply be immaculate from JDG. They're either invading as a collective, Junja and Vampire together to get that deep vision, or they're using Prio to just drop deep wards, right?
As someone who dies to every gank, I'm going to start linking these VODs to my team. It's not my fault I'm dying to the ganks.
True,
it's your fault you didn't ward out the gank.
Absolutely.
Knowing that I would die.
Yeah, and thinking about it, like, I duo with Medic sometimes, and you're right, my deaths are his fault.
They are. Why didn't he ward that out?
Why didn't he ward that out? That's a great point as well. I'll have a review session with him after this series. Charm doesn't quite connect from Envy. But look at bot lane, Azel. Or would you rather avert your eyes once again?
No, I don't think I want to look down there. If you want, we'll hope of a close series, just don't look bot is what we are learning. Is Bull is going to have to pop the ult and just run for the hills. Gala just aggressively trading with the Transcend oneself here. And is going to be constantly pushing Bull in. They were holding a little bit more even early on, but now even without a kill, Gala's up 1.3k. Youngjae is here to fight, but Bull can't really assist in a fight, and Honkyu's forcing the roam here, so they're just getting perma-zoned off their tower. I think they're going to lose the whole first turret, and Bull is just completely out of it.
It is quite devastating to watch how things are playing out in the bot lane. Xiaoshu, sure, he's struggling a little bit in the matchup after falling to a gank early on in the game. He still holds on to a gold lead, but Gala did the worst thing possible to Loud. The whole wave, cannon included, dies to the tower. He'll give them a mercy one because the tower is about to fall anyway, but at 1.7k gold lead for Yunara, we're not even 12 minutes into the game, Azel.
And he's about to cash out his call, too. He only has 5 more charges on the call, so he's going to be up over 2k easily. Already has that first item. Junja is going to grab the second dragon of the game for him. And while the top side has held up pretty well, Junja has found really good timings to slam home advantages in both game 1 and 2. They found that dive, killed them both off, and Gala and Vampire are just winning out in these 2v2s so easily that it's going to be really, really tough. I mean, Bull, yeah, you're playing this scaling champion, but you're miles behind the Yunara,
who is also a scaling champion.
Exactly. The only real advantage you have is, I guess, the Lulu is going to maybe help you out a little bit there, but it's just you're a full item down once this Cull cashes out, essentially.
Yeah, it is a rough one, to say the least. And basically, all they're waiting, I mean, I was about to say, all they're waiting for is the role quest to be completed. But of course, Gala's role quest is completed. And so what they'll do is they'll move him to mid, and they'll do the exact same thing they did in game 1, which is, oh, you can't beat us in the 2v2? Great, then let's just keep that 2v2 going for as long as possible. Because until you can find a way to break this, we're going to keep chipping away at your towers, and we're going to keep building up advantages.
Well, Xiaoshu cashes out on his Cull, and that opens up a slight gold advantage for him. But Shino has held up well with some help there from Youngjae in that 1v1. So Shino looking pretty good. Mid lane's about even. Jungle, not really a big advantage. It's just all about bot lane here, and we'll see if Loud are going to be able to find a way to solve that problem. Xiaoshu going to pop the Dominus here, going aggressively as Honkyu is coming up. The Pathmaker used early, so he doesn't have it. He does try to get away. The Charm just barely misses. The last auto doesn't kill him. Shino limps away. Barely survives. No, don't die on the lazy recall. Okay, Jung's just not going to check.
Honestly, a bit of a misplay there from Honkyu. I think that he was just a bit impatient with a lot of his skills. He could have waited to get much closer and kind of put that extra pressure onto Shino. So he was forced to kind of make a decision as to where the skill shot was going to go. But hey, they get what they wanted. They get a couple plates on the top side. Xiaoshu now going to be heading towards the bot side of the map. Loud getting some vision of their own. But I'm keeping my eyes on the minimap. I see 2 Galas. One was scary enough, let alone a second one.
That's not fair.
That's not fair at all. But Herald, now a minute's away. I imagine this is a large part of why they've made this swap. Xiaoshu's TP should be available, ready for that plate. And as you can see in the Coinbase gold gap, because that's what I'm going to call it right now, because that is quite the gold gap that has developed between the 2 AD carries.
Kind of messed up. I didn't want to look to the bot side of my screen. Now I can't look to the left side of my screen either. There's a lot of places you can't look if you want to avoid this Gala advantage, because he is now knocking on the door of this mid lane tier 1, 2.6k up. And whenever he goes back to base, he'll have a second item, and Bolt, who did make a pit stop for those Berserker Greaves, still working on that first item. You can see Shino going all out, looking for Honkyu. He flashes back. The Pathmaker gets charmed right out of it, taking a couple tower shots. Is he going to go down? Tries to go back in onto Honkyu, but he still has 2 charges of that Spirit Rush. Not going to risk chasing, as Young Jay is up there, and he's going to look for a potential play. Pop the World Ender, looking for Honku. Not going to be able to knock him down just yet, but does finish him off with a chop of a sword. Junja moving in, though, with the backup Junja. Now shifting into a minion is Vampire. But Redbird is here to cover, and so is Envy on the teleport. So, Young Jay, a bright spot for Loud, does have those 2 kills.
Well, it's bright if you just look top lane. Because yes,
we already established we're not looking bot lane, buddy.
Because yes, Loud did get themselves a kill. They get a kill onto Honku. But mid lane, the tower is falling. Bot lane, Xiaoshu has had the freedom to hit onto that tower. I want to see how many plates he ended up. I mean, the mid tower is just going to fall. That's a 3K individual lead now for Gala. 3 plates were secured for Xiaoshu. He's got an 800 gold lead and the Herald as well. And where are they going to go with that Herald? Straight to top lane. They're not going to waste any time. They know that the recalls have just come through. They can just drop that and secure another tower if they want to. It depends if they want to hold it, ready for the dragon spawning in about a minute's time, and it looks like that's what they're going to make the play for.
Gala's about to go spend all his gold, and if you're a Loud fan, maybe avert your eyes. Ooh. As he's already got 2 items. He's working towards his 3rd here. Has the upgraded boots. He is ridiculously strong. They just don't really have any backline threat either. That's the biggest problem here for Loud. It's hard to imagine Gala dying. You know, it's hard to imagine him getting caught in a 5v5. They're going to look for Redbird here. Redbird forced to flash very quickly as Gala reveals the new itemization, and Redbird does not like the taste of that.
He does commit his ultimate, which you could argue, hey, that means he's not going to have it available for the dragon. But based on what I'm seeing on my screen, Loud don't feel like they're going to get anywhere near that dragon.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, it is going to be very tough to get over there. Let's look at the vision. Everywhere you look, it's all blue wards. They're going to be able to drop the Herald here in the mid lane, crash it into the tier 2. Envy is there to cover, but the tower goes down regardless. 5.5k gold lead. It's the Infernal Chains easily sidestepped by Gala. And the bot lane being pushed in once more. Everywhere you look, it is JDG building these incremental advantages. Just like last game, it is now turned into a massive edge.
I don't know. How do I word this? You know when...
Oh, but he got the scuttle. Big.
You know when we watch our regions just kind of get perma-killed in all their lanes and absolutely slaughtered?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
I don't know if that's worse than just slowly losing like this. Because this feels like you just can't do anything. Just everything is kind of, at least like in the other version, there's like lots of kills, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes you get some of them, which always feels
nice. That's true, you do get some of them,
Not usually, but sometimes you do.
But here, it's 4 kills in 17 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, and you got 2 kills, you're 2-0 as the jungler, and you have lost the video.
Yeah.
It is tough. And you've been on approximately 17,000 wards if you're Young Jay this game.
Yeah, if anything, there isn't a fog of war for JDG.
No.
Like
That's crazy. They're just playing with map packs. Is this allowed?
You know how in game 1 you said it was like Loud was playing blind pick and JDG got to see all of your blind picks? It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but with vision. Is we're going to have the double TP. Can they find him? Oh, no. They guessed the wrong way. They thought they were being sneaky. The Scatter of the Week does connect as well as the Unleashed Power, but Gala, he's just going to absorb it. In goes Junja. The Pop Blossom going to get popped here from Vampire. Only connects on 1. Honky's on the side. First kill goes the way of JDG. And in comes the teleport. Now in the back line. Don't look. It's a crocodile. Lulu is down. Bull is fighting with Young Jay, but Young Jay's ultimate has expired. Bull is on the run, but Honku takes him out. Shino goes all out, but you got nothing to do in this fight. Shino will stand, he will fight, and he will fall as JDG. Vedius, you asked for more kills, and now they got him. Unfortunately for Loud, it did not go their way.
JDG did deliver as Loud tried their best to find a TP flanking play. They committed 2 members, they came in from the angle, but the play just doesn't go the way that they want it to. Things quickly fall apart. We'll look back at the play, and Envy connects the stun, but the damage just isn't there, throwing his ultimate out very early, and now he becomes the target. Lulu does what he can to keep his mid laner alive, but Envy ends up dropping because JDG are coming in from multiple angles. Loud are committing very deep, and like Loud, they run out of steam.
very, very quickly ran out of steam there. I mean, it's great angles from Hongq as well as Xiaoshu. And as soon as you see the angles that they have, there's just no world in which you're really going to be able to win the fight. Your carries are instantly gobbled up here by JDG as they have just displayed domination throughout this series thus far. You can see Redbird's face. Little look of dejection. It's a frustrating game to be playing.
Oh, absolutely.
You know you're just bleeding out, you're bleeding out, you're bleeding out. You know you're slowly losing the game. You finally commit to a play. That doesn't go your way either. And now JDG 2 minutes from Seoul, up 8,000 gold here at 20. And Chino going to be sent back away from his tower as JDG will look to try to connect yet another objective.
And I mean, it's a big turnaround for JDG after they were dismantled by Gen G. We heard from Gala and how he talked about how they were expecting that series to be competitive. They wanted to show more. They believed they could show more. And we needed to see more from them, given how dominant that Gen G series was from Gen G. And JDG have looked very dominant. They have controlled both games beautifully. I like their approaches to the draft and how they've just consistently punished the game plan from Loud. And so much of it has been driven by their bottom lane. Gala and Vampire. We saw this domestically. We saw it in their playoffs. We saw, and this is just how they like to play. Get that strong bot side of the map, play through their bot lane, have that control, and dominate the Rift.
Well, Gala may have an Infinity Edge, but Bull has his Scout Slingshot.
Yeah. Yes,
how
he
you
does.
like them apples?
I mean, that is literally David versus Goliath.
Yep.
You know? But I do feel like in this version of the story, Goliath might...
Goliath was the author of this story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he's like, in this story, Goliath is impervious.
Goliath has got all of his friends here.
Yep.
David about to get hit by a truck. Dragon spawning in about 50 seconds. That is going to be the soul point as well, which means that Loud, that's kind of their last hope. If there is even any left for them.
Feel like a broken record, but they just have no vision in the area. They just can't even get close. I mean, where's your closest ward? It's on the top side, right? You can't see anything.
They've had to commit so much just to get vision on their own side of the Rift as well, let alone the enemy side.
I mean, their blue ward had to be used on their own blue buff, as Xiaoshu now looking for potential flank is going to be spotted on some vision here, but JDG fully controlling mid lane. Again, they just sweep out all the vision. They push them back here slowly. Young Jay does secure his Raptors there. Bull, though, going to be in some trouble. Hongq looks with the charm. Only charms up a minion, but Chino feeling confident now, trying to step up. He knows they need to move in, and he's the one that has to create that space for them to do it.
Right now, the only space that is being garnered is that by JDG. Full control over the mid wave. They're trying their best to force their way into the river. They'll face check. Chino's doing a good job there.
Vampire fishing on the side, and Hongq is threatening a flank from below them. Envy does not hit the scatter. Gala just kiting back. The Dragon is getting lower. Chino trying to create some space here for his carries. Envy trying to mark Hongq, but Vampire on the side being marked as well. Hongq goes in, he connects on the charm. Bull cleanses it out, but here comes Vampire. It's a massive pop blossom. Bull is gone already. Chino battling on the side against Gala. Almost takes him down, but can't quite do it. It's all the kills going to JDG. 5 for 0. 23 minutes in, they TP to top lane, and they're looking to end this.
A one-sided slaughter as JDG tear Loud apart in a 5 for 0 ace. 23 minutes into game 2, they will show them no mercy, leave no remorse as they look to take down the Nexus and go to match point.
JDG may not have been able to take down Gen G, but they are looking incredible here today. Not going to try to risk it on the Nexus push. Instead, they just take the inhibitor. They'll go back to Seoul. They decide, you know what? They could be respawning. Maybe something could happen.
I mean, they're only 23 minutes in, though. Death timers aren't that long, but really, it starts off with Hongq. Keep an eye on the left-hand side. Connects on the ball. And because they turn their attention onto him, they don't track Vampire. Connects a nice two-man ulti onto the back line, giving space for Hongq. And on the front line, the Syndra ult is thrown into Vampire, of all people, and they can't even get the kill there. Meanwhile, Xiaoshu and Junja doing what they need to allow for the MasterCard priceless moment of the game with the Dragon Soul secured. Second of this series, JDG once again demonstrating dominance and a masterclass performance against Loud.
They are looking very good, and I'm feeling a little bit scared as a Lion fan who will have to play the winner of this matchup, which is, well, if it continues this way, it's going to be JDG, who has looked very, very dominant here today. Definitely a bot lane masterclass, it has to be said. Gala and Vampire feeling like the biggest gap by far across these two games. The top side has held up all right. Youngjae has been able to find some action, but you know, generally past the early minutes, he is just perma-warded everywhere. Their vision game has been so good, and they have been playing very patiently. Gala is chunked low. Bull's going to go in with the lightning crash. Flashes forward, but Gala flashes away. And on the other side, it's Hongq. It's killing Redbird. He's chasing after Envy, looking for even more. Envy flashes back. The scatter going to be able to land on the flash of Hongq, but it doesn't matter because he is knocked down over the wall. Shino running for the hills here. But Xiaoshu is hungry. He's chasing him down, popping the Dominus, looking to get even more while the rest of his team just pushes the base.
I mean, Shino, he's not going to be given a chance to defend his base. Only Youngjae will be there left to defend as JDG win another convincing fight. An ambitious but a valiant effort from Bull, which was not enough to take down Gala. He remains standing as they set their sights on the Nexus.
It's going to be the Nexus falling here. JDG crushing games back to back. The bot lane has been dominant, and Junja has been there to thwart him. It's going to be match point here for JDG. One more, and they will move on and send Loud home.
All right, Loud, what have you got prepared for us? Similar bans to what we saw in the previous game with the Jarvan and the Pantheon taken off the board. Orianna and Ryze going to be similarly removed. I mean, we're now getting a little bit deeper into the pool of what's actually available, because now the question of, will we get to see Youngjae's Kiana finally come out, one of his most played of the year? The Varus now going to be banned away. They realize how powerful it is, and they do not want to give it to Gala anymore.
And they don't want to give it to themselves. It's their first pick.
I mean, at this point, I'm confident Bull doesn't play Varus.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think he plays
That's
it.
such a problem in draft, though, when the most highly prized AD carry can't be played by your team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm thinking that engaged supports are going to rise in priority now. Nami is still available, so the Corki Nami combo is something I think we need to be mindful of for JDG. But there's that Kiana. They don't want to give Youngjae one of his comfort picks. So what will the first pick be? Ambessa.
So a little bit of a flex pick here for Loud. Obviously could go up to Shino, could go to Youngjae. And we'll see if they are going to try to maintain that potential of a flex throughout draft, which can definitely give you some advantage, especially when you are having to blind some stuff. But so far this year, there haven't been any Ambessa games from Youngjae. But of course, you know, there is a possibility.
So Corki and Nami, we did just talk about it, and they have immediately locked it in.
So you want a winning 2v2.
Yeah.
How about if instead you have a losing 2v2 again?
Well, here we go. This is the type of stuff that we wanted to see, right? Kalista plus Renata.
I just think you get ranged.
It's a bot lane that can fight at the very least.
Yeah. I feel like you got to bring your jungler down there, though.
Absolutely, you do. So level 6, they have plays. If the Ambessa is in the jungle, it's all about getting that level 6 and making stuff happen in the bot side of the map. So I think that there's also just a bot lane that a single misplay from JDG's bot lane can offer opportunities for the Kalista Renata.
Yeah.
But the only problem I have, Azel, is that I'm still kind of jaded by MSI when we were in Vancouver and Kalista Renata 1-0 games.
Yep.
So that still lingers in my mind. That's still very ever present for me, the burden of execution that is required to have a successful Kalista Renata lane.
And my problem with early picking Kalista Renata is always that Renata is so effective into heavy dive comps, but when you early pick it, they've only showed their bot lane. They just don't have to play dive.
That's
you can
true.
just pick a control mage in the mid lane and control space and have some sort of frontliney jungler and just play slow. And then even if you manage to win the 2v2, which I don't think they can do in this matchup, honestly, Kalista Renata get really limited value against long-range comps. Hostile takeover is so slow-moving, it's very difficult to find angles for it. And we'll see if they can make a liar out of me, but I just think this is a losing 2v2 once again, because you're not playing into any sort of engage. And Renata really struggles into champions like Nami, who can just play slow, play for sustain. Corki doesn't need to take an all-in. You can just poke with Foss bombs and push the wave.
Okay, listen. I recognize your skepticism, Azael. I recognize it, but
you deny it.
No, I'm just going to be blindly optimistic.
Okay, I like that. Delusion.
That I practice frequently as an LEC commentator. But the jungle pool is getting pinched more, and it seems JDG is incredibly confident that this is not a flex pick. You did mention that we haven't seen any Ambessa jungle from Youngjae, and it is Shino's second most played. So JDG feels very confident in their prep that this Ambessa is going top. That's largely why they went for the Jax early rotation. in. Now, do they want range themselves? Do they want to go more for poke? Are they thinking about something like a Jace mid, perhaps, or
even just any control mage? Legit, I feel like.
Victor could also just work if they want something relatively safe blind in the middle lane as well.
I think you can play Azir. You can play a lot of stuff. I mean, Azir is pretty nerfed, but so it hasn't been that popular. Poppy jungle would be really nice here. Into Ambessa and Kalista.
Yeah, because I was also thinking about like maybe he could go Lee Sin or something, or Zehen, and then I'm like, oh, Poppy into Lee Sin.
Well, if you didn't like the draft before, I got some bad news for you, buddy.
Poppy's really good. That's it. It's a great adaptation there from JDG with the Poppy
when they pick good things.
Yeah, well, okay, Loud, come on. Show us what you got. Viego, okay. I mean, it is definitely a skirmish-heavy jungler that can somewhat circumvent the Poppy interaction.
Yeah, you can't block them all. That's the strategy that we're going for here.
Yeah.
You might be able to stop any of us, but you can't stop all of us.
Wait, what happens with Kalista's ult? Does that also bounce off? It must, right?
I'm not actually sure. I'm not sure if it's unstoppable or not. I've never seen it get rejected by an Alistar headbutt or something like that, so I think you're probably just unstoppable. I don't think you would get stunned by that.
Interesting.
I mean, I could Google it.
Poppy W definitely stops Alistar headbutt. No?
It absolutely does. I'm saying I haven't seen like Renata get thrown in by a Kalista and get like headbutt out of the air, like pulverized out of the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why I'm assuming that it is unstoppable. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's unstoppable.
Don't bring out the Veigar again. I didn't love it into. I mean, I guess considering how slow the games have been, it's fine. Oh, these champions are swapping and.
Wait, is another good one. Yeah, so this is the problem. They're just playing disengage, right? You've kind of like already forecasted when you early pick this what you're going to be playing and what you're hoping your opponents are going to be playing. They just say, nope, we're playing Poppy. We can just Keeper's Verdict knock you away. We're playing Hui that controls space, and we're going to just split push with Jax, who's going to outscale in the side lane. So it's really tough. I mean, this is one of these comps where it is synergistic for Loud. You go in with the flash tibbers, you stun someone up, public execution comes in, the hostile takeover goes over the top, Viego gets a quick kill, gets a reset. That's just the thought process.
You know, like you can get some quick kills, absolutely, and you can swing a team fight, but
can you get through Poppy and Jax?
We agree that JDG's drafting has been good in this series, and they have actually punished Loud at every opportunity.
And even worse than their good drafting is their good play, which you hate. Yeah. They play towards their win comps. You know, they're like, oh, we're a poke comp. Let's not just run in and kill ourselves. I don't know why, but for some reason, we're a split push comp. Let's just play slow and play the side lanes. I don't know why they would do that, but they seem to be doing it.
They do seem to keep doing that. Yeah. You were the one that said to me, it felt like game 1 and game 2 were mirrors of each other.
They were.
And we're on tracks to have a third mirror installed here in São Paulo.
So it's a fun house at that point.
It does seem to be, and it does feel like the Loud is getting lost as they wander around the fun house.
That's tough. We'll see if they can make something happen. It is definitely a snowballing comp. I mean, if Loud can get some early kills, if you get that first reset, you never know what can happen, but compositionally feels very, very, very difficult, I think, for Loud. JDG has been so good around playing to their strengths and weaknesses of their composition. I think they're going to play at range. I think they're just going to play to look to deny these engages that Loud will be drafting for, and let's see if Loud... It's got to start in the bot lane, man. Just gotta. They have to play better in this 2v2. Can't be behind. Oh no. This is. I mean, he shouldn't die, but he actually no. He might. Yeah, I think he's just dead. That is really tough. That's tough. You hate to see it happen. Let's put it at that.
To start off your elimination final match.
You know what?
Dying for First Blood is.
Poppy has to start with E. Think about how bad jungle clear is going to be, you know?
That's yourself a lot.
Yeah, that's my glass half full.
That's all right.
Yeah, you're like, all right, young Jay, get a jungle gap.
Look how slow this is.
He's still in his first camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now he's not, but he was. He was in his first camp.
Yeah, I mean, right now, this is a situation where Azael and I are quickly trying to figure out how Loud can bounce back. But while they figure that out,
you can go and buy the Act 2 Battle Pass bundle that is live now. Purchasing unlocks the Prestige Requiem Sona skin and Chroma. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. And Xiaoshu taking a trade here with Shino on the top side, and we'll continue theory crafting. You know, how is this a positive?
How is this a positive?
Jungle no flash and started E.
That's true.
Just it's up to your team to punish it, really.
I mean, Bull. Oh no! So I was about to find another positive, and I was like, they got some good trades.
I was about to.
He's coming back with a refillable.
I was about to find another positive, but they've cut me off at the pass. The negativity cut me off.
Yeah. But hey, he's got more sustain now to help match up against the 2 versus 2.
That's true.
Hang on. Level 3 for Gala. You got to be careful there in the bot lane.
Yep, Gala is level 3 right now. Bull and Redbird goes in and on it as they clear out that wave. We'll be able to get there themselves, and we'll see if they can find any sort of an all-in play. Of course, Gala and Vampire did use their Barrier and Heal. That was traded earlier.
Here we are. This is the cascading effect. So thanks to Junja having a slow start to his clear, he now doesn't get to contest the bot crab.
Big.
Which means that for the first time in this series, it will be Youngjae that actually has control over the bottom side, and now Gala and Vampire have to play more respectfully.
And maybe now Junja doesn't get a double kill on the bot dive.
Absolutely, because now the map has been split. Now, Shino, you do know that this means that Jungler is going to be on your side of the map, so you've got to be cautious of that.
He does. He does have to be cautious of that, unfortunately. As Junja here, Xiaoshu with not the ideal buy. The glowing moat and boots is not going to feel great here, but Shino staying around and Junja looking for a long wrap around. Youngjae is coming out from base, but you called it, Vedius. You got to be careful. This wave is pushing away from him. He is very aware.
Youngjae's also in the area.
But it's the lure of the cannon, Vedius. No top laner can resist.
He got it.
Shino gets the cannon, and that's all that matters. In comes Youngjae. Xiaoshu getting low. Shino going to flash back. There is that leap strike forward. The steadfast presence interrupts him. It is going to be a trade of kills and +1 on the cannon.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you spotted it out in the fight. The use of Junja's steadfast presence there to actually save his top laner so that he could actually get that kill onto Shino was very well played by Junja, but still ends up being a 1-for-1 thanks to the turret. The junglers are going to be
2. They got the cannon.
Yes, they did. There's a 30 gold difference between the top laners right now, and that cannon has to have contributed pretty meaningfully, I would say.
It did. Unfortunately, Bull not going to be going back to base as he would have liked. As Gala has come back, doesn't have any sustain in the kit, but here it is one more time. I mean, Shino, he knew the wave was in a bad spot. He wanted to push it in.
Yeah, and he's got very long cooldowns early on as well, so he can't really stick in the trade. That's the steadfast presence we were talking about. Good use to interrupt Youngjae to try and keep Xiaoshu alive, and then Xiaoshu takes a tower shot, so it is unfortunate. Now, the mid lane, we haven't talked much about it, but Azael, we've talked extensively about Annie as a champion. And you said to me, if I got this quote correct, if you are just away from Annie, you generally win the matchup.
Yeah.
And right now we are seeing that happen live.
Yeah. I mean, Annie is a horrible blind pick. You know, it's a compositional pick a lot of times in pro, but it's a horrible blind pick because you get outranged so badly. And we have Junja waiting behind them. They're looking for yet another 2v2
This wasn't supposed to happen. We had made a deal.
He's basing. He's sticking to the plan.
Okay, cool.
Youngjae is here. We'll spot out Junja and is going to find out that Junja's trying to steal that away. Nice steadfast presence. Couldn't find the tackle into the wall, so Youngjae will have this Grand Prix set, but Loud will be able to at least defend their side, and that gets some cheers from the crowd.
Ward ends up falling. Youngjae going to get a ward back in response. The crowd's still very supportive of the home crowd favorites, Loud. It's a bit of a tense moment here in the bottom lane. Envy can't really get involved, even though he does have the level 6. If they could get Annie down towards these skirmishes... Oh, Bull forced to use the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, Youngjae positioning like wants to fight for the scuttle. You cannot fight for the scuttle. Your bot lane is completely low on health.
He can and he will.
I don't think he should. Envy is moving down, so they're going to just try to take this away. And you can look at mid lane. Hongq has just pushed this in. They're still trying to force, but on the top side, Xiaoshu going all in on Shino. He does hit him with the public execution. Kites back to the tower. Envy dropped a wave to try to get down there and force a play. They couldn't actually find it as JDG just take the scuttle and back off. I feel like Youngjae just had to accept the loss and keep farming because that just puts Envy further behind, and JDG were well aware of the move from mid.
Yeah, sometimes we see this though. where teams, they tunnel too hard on what they think is important and they end up just being spectators rather than just trying to cross-map. And again, it's something that we see consistently, just both LPL and LCK teams do very well. Oh, you want to kill my top laner? That's fine. I'm going to push mid, push bot, take your camps, take our camps. Like, they're constantly trying to be as efficient as possible. And in this situation, Youngjae, he very much just, he wasted time because now Jinja's been able to go back to base. He's going to start clearing through his top side. A little bit surprised considering that his bot camps are up. His camps are spawning very awkwardly right now. But he's shadowing the top side, level 6. Yeah, there's no real gank to happen here against Shino, especially.
Yeah, and they can see that Youngjae is on that ward over by the Raptors here as Hongq was winning on those trades and did get the kill on Tivers to boot, which is an extra 50 gold. Always feels nice. Youngjae here to try to protect his mid laner, make sure he can at least get this wave. And as Envy didn't have a great first buy, Hongq already on that early lost chapter is just in his comfort zone. And you're just going to perma wave clear. Annie can't really interact with you. Anytime you walk forward, you just get hit by poke. And as we saw, even when you get the Tibbers down onto Hongq, he trades with the Spiraling Despair, and it's still very positive for him. So as long as JDG can just keep you lane locked, they're kind of just winning again. And that's the problem, is that they've set themselves up for success in all 3 games where all they have to do is farm well and avoid fights, and they will win. And it feels like Game 3, they've set them up for that exact same win con.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of this was inspired by their series versus Gen G, because it was Hongq that was getting battered by Chovi's Way, and now he's performing in a very similar way, playing at absolute max length, making it impossible for the Annie to do anything, and JDG with a very patient approach. Now, though, JDG is going to be the one to kick off the Dragon. This will be their first Dragon of the series, I believe, if they can secure it. Jinja doesn't want to allow that to happen. And
Envy's under his tower, so they're going to be down a man right now. Envy is very far behind them, doesn't have the Tivers, and the Spiraling Despair just came back up. Now Hongq's going to let it rip onto Bull. They steal away the Dragon, they land the bubble. The bailout does nothing. Bull will fall as well. Waste the flash just to add insult to injury. Loud lose another fight, and it's a long-range kill from Hongq. Snipes out Redbird to end the fight. 3-for-0. And the Dragon, and they're going to go to Grubs and get that too.
In games 1 and game 2, Jinja found his double kill by diving bot lane. This time he found his double kill on the bot lane once again, but he secures a Dragon to boot. Envy's going to try his best to get something back, but it's just to deter Hongq from getting more plates, as JDG amass a 3k gold lead off the back of this fight that starts off with just the numbers advantages. You called it. Hongq gets to move first. The smite is too early because the rend wasn't used in conjunction with that. Jinja turns his attention towards the bottom lane, and it becomes an easy cleanup play. Beautifully executed. The snipe will come through from the mid laner. And Loud looking lost here already in game 3.
Yeah, just an overforce. It's kind of a repeat of the scuttle play, where they're trying to force their hands when they don't have the setup, and there's no way JDG is going to let you get away with that. Tibbers is a longer cooldown. Annie didn't have move and didn't have ult, so there's just no way you're going to win out in a 3v4. You're down a man, you're down an ult, and Annie really doesn't do anything without her ultimate. So Youngjae moving up towards that top side. Xiaoshu does have the info that he is there, but will they be able to find a kill here? Youngjae looking. Nice public execution does come in, but the counter-strike is timed well. Xiaoshu flashes back. The flashes are there to follow. And Shino picks up a much-needed kill for Loud.
So we are definitely seeing similarities between the games, Azael. Xiaoshu is dying top due to gank pressure. Junja's making plays happen all over the Rift, helping his team and himself get kills. And we find ourselves 10 minutes in already with a 2.6k gold lead. Loud, they're going to have to find a miracle play in order to swing the momentum of this game, because right now it feels like JDG can just follow the same trajectory that they have throughout the entirety of this series and slowly tear Loud apart.
At least bot lane's a little bit closer this time around, but the problem becomes Junja is mega fed with a champion that is compositionally such a strong answer to what Loud have, and mid lane is just miles behind. And Annie from behind, you just don't do any damage, and you're heavily outranged, so you can't threaten the all-in onto Hongq, and you can't play the lane slow, and in comes both of the junglers as there's a nice bubble in onto Bull, and now the tackle comes through. The hostile takeover trying to peel. Bull has the bailout, but will it even matter? A 3-man knockup from Junja. He's telling him, get out the game. This one is mine, as JDG crushed the bot lane fight and look for the sweep.
That was nasty from Junja. getting that 3-man knock-up combo to allow for Gala to just clean up the fight was beautiful. 5-0-2 now on the Poppy, kind of stealing the thunder away from the bottom lane. We'll look back and you identified it. A really nice flank comes in from both junglers. One to protect, one to attack. And the attacker, I mean, he did some serious work. Flash, knock-up combo. Exquisitely done. JDG once again with a firm control over this game.
And Junja even finding Redbird back in live, who will survive. You can see the frustration there on their face. Is watching on, feeling pretty happy. Very different experiences being on either side of the rift here, as you can tell. As Gala now feeling super confident with that Triforce completed, and we can see in the Coinbase gold grind, Vampire a good 600 gold ahead. Does have his first item completed, while Redbird's still working towards one on the other side, but that's really the least of their concerns as you look at the itemization between mid, jungle, and bot.
I mean, this mid tower is just slowly falling. I guess, like, so far in this series, what we've been seeing is bot lane just take that tower, and then once they've taken it, they start moving out to other lanes. But this time, Honkyu's done such a good job as the ulti committed top.
Public execution, and there's no Counter-Strike available for Xiaoshu, so this should be a pretty easy kill. Shino tanks it up, Young Jae going in, but the tower is on him. The red buff turns it around. The Counter-Strike is back. He's stunned up, and in comes Junja to get one more. Xiaoshu looked like it was a guaranteed death, and it was at the end of the day as he gives one over for free to Shino. But the play still goes bad. It looked like they had juggled the aggro well, but I think it had to be the red buff on Young Jae that pulled the aggro back.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for Young Jae. The idea behind the dive, I like it. It's worked for you so far this series, attacking Xiaoshu. It's a place on the map you can make plays. Oh, but Honkyu has now made his way to bottom lane.
That tower is very low. It is not going to protect him for long. Bull loses all of his health to two basic abilities from Honkyu. Doesn't have the Spiraling Despair. He would have been already dead, and now you're gone regardless. Bull gets sniped down as the heavens descend from Honkyu. He is just firing missiles from outer space at this point.
He is farming kills right now as he finds himself another one. Junja?
Yeah, Junja with the knockup. Young Jae running out, but again, it's the orbital laser. It's satellites versus sticks and stones. It's just not fair, Vedius.
It's a systematic destruction here in the final game. It is a feeling all too familiar that the West have been experiencing over the last few days. That game 3 looking so one-sided as the Dragon will be started off by JDG and Loud. I mean, they had a valiant series versus Lion, but against JDG, they have just been dismantled, torn apart, given no opportunity to have any presence in this series.
JDG definitely looking very good. It was always going to be tough for these teams. You know, you have JDG and Gen G, two super strong teams from the LPL, from the LCK. They would have to get by because, of course, only 2 teams advance from each group. So you have to be able to take down either JDG or Gen G to even have a chance of advancing. And it's a very difficult road when you do lose that first matchup. We're back to top lane as Xiaoshu here. There's 2 don't work, bring 3. Let's see if they can make this one happen. They're TPing up as well. They're going to bring 4 as 3 was looking a little bit sketchy, but now comes JDG. JDG trying to make this one a little bit more of an even fight as Xiaoshu is just buying time. Gala, Vampire, Junja all coming in. Xiaoshu going to get stunned up, has the Counter-Strike, flashes back, still surviving. Now you're between 2 towers, and this does not look like a fun time. Envy flashes forward, so does Shino. They're going to look for Gala. Gala standing. He's going to be hit by the hostile takeover, but in the back line goes Xiaoshu, takes down 2. Gala survives. They do finally get the Jax, as we have seen time and time again. But Shino cannot win this fight. Junja will survive. No one from Loud can stay the same as they all get knocked down, and it's going to be the Herald off the back of the fight.
Loud are just desperate at this point. They know how quickly the game is snowballing out of control. They have to make something happen somewhere on the map. But this time around, the cavalry came in clutch. JDG did not want to let their top laner fall once more. And even though he did end up dying, they got 4 kills in exchange. So his goal here is to buy time. The commitment of the TP, Loud feel like they have to get something, but they are so deep at this point. Xiaoshu overstays though. He thinks that I need to buy time for my team to arrive, but he's forced to flash away. Now with the positioning of Gala, nice flash engage from Envy, but look at the damage he gets back off. That Q picking apart Loud, doing so much initial damage, allowing for Xiaoshu to get a double himself. And even though Tibbers gets enraged, he is not angry enough to turn this fight in their favor.
Xiaoshu's always good for one, though. You know?
That is.
loud, have someone reliable, and it's Xiaoshu.
Yeah.
They can always go top lane, get one. Xiaoshu's got to be a bit annoyed about how many ganks he's tanking, but the games are absolutely going their way. And this one, again, almost 10,000 gold ahead now at 17 minutes in.
We didn't talk about it. Hongju took tier 2 belt tower.
What did we agree, Vedius? What is the rule for this series?
My bad.
Where did that happen, Vedius?
Sorry,
Where did it happen?
You're right. You have it in the bot lane.
Yeah. Okay,
we
buddy.
don't go there. You're right. My bad. Hongju now has 2 completed items. If he thought that his orbital strikes weren't doing enough, well, he's just upgraded.
No one thought that. They were doing too much already.
No, there was that one guy.
There's that one guy? Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, wait, he's not looking very strong in this game.
Well, hopefully this can change his mind.
All right, Spectral Maw coming in. Going to be flashed away there by Vampires. Oh, my God. Gala hurts a lot, and here comes Xiaoshu. It's revenge of the top laner. Who's ganking who now? Junja going to tackle him into the wall. Hostile takeover comes out, buys a little bit of time. 2-man knockup. The Fate's Call will pull back Redbird. He can peel for Bull, but Bull is burning, and Hongq is going to look. There's one orbital laser, not enough to take down Redbird. As JDG pushing on the base, they're going to crack the inhibitor at about 18 minutes in.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I've seen something similar to like this
dancing
before.
Shelly?
They're going to go for the bot tower. No, they're going to try and end the game.
They're going to try to end the game here.
We've seen this before.
Oh my God, they're looking for the fastest game of the tournament. The first Nexus tower is already gone at 18 minutes. The respawns are in from Loud. Let's see if they can hold on. JDG says, wait a second, we're just kidding. We're not going to end. We will back up.
Okay, apparently they've decided that they're not T1 at MSI, but it only takes a single member to overstep from Loud. Okay, they're going to back away. JDG, oh my goodness. They want to end this quickly. They want to end Loud suffering. A dominant series from the LPL second seed that they're looking to just make look even more dominant. JDG completely flipping the script on the perspectives.
They are looking really, really strong as we can hear the co-streamers next door to us. We're not sounding too happy about the results through the walls. And JDG looking to try to seal the deal here, of course. They are 30 seconds away from this third dragon. I don't know if it's really going to get to Seoul or not, as they have been crushing this one. And
I mean, they've just committed their TP, so you pretty much just have one person push mid and everyone else push bot. And then you just try and get that second inhibitor, and then the game, it's just an inevitability at that point. You could then play for Baron if you wanted to play it extra safe, but with the gold that they have, I genuinely don't think they need it. Like, look at Envy's items and then look at Hongq's, or don't. I mean, it depends.
I won't. I choose to live in ignorance, Vedius.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah. JDG, they can definitely just win with their wallets at this point.
Yeah, they are looking really, really strong. And the wave clear is pretty weak over on the Loud side, which is going to make dealing with the super minions that much harder. As Annie and Callista, not exactly inspiring wave clear. They will pick up that third dragon while they do everything else. Xiaoshu going to be pushing up on that top side. He was, for a while, playing on that weak side. 3 members were up there, and he just kind of waited as JDG were pushing on the bot side. If no one's responding to that, he knows he's got to play safe, but they're still pinging up towards Xiaoshu once again. Just constantly looking to attack him. 3 members here from Loud as Envy's going to come in from behind. Does land the stun. He still has the counter-strike available, but going to be chained by Youngjae. He's going to turn around on Youngjae. Youngjae has to flash out. He flashes onto Envy, but surely he will get knocked down. It's a trade of flashes, but look at the base. Hongq going to let the Spiraling Despair rip. Does get pulled back by the Fate's Call. Bull barely saves him, but almost dies in the effort here as JDG looking to close this one out. They're trying to fight it out, but Loud can't do anything. Gala is unstoppable, as he has been this whole series long. JDG looking to seal the deal. It's going to be a 3-0 sweep and a date with Lion coming up.
A dominant performance once again to close out the series. JDG disregarding their series versus Gen G and bouncing back in proficient fashion. The fastest game of the tournament. You can spam in chat for your player of the game. I think it's Junja. I think that he had a fantastic game 3. Yeah, they're looking scary, for sure.
They are looking very scary. Who has to play them, Vedius, huh?
That would be Lion. And that would be Lion. That has to play against
Well, we beat Loud, so so surely.
That's true.
I mean, JDG beat Loud, we beat Loud.
Yeah.